Well, hello class. Here we are fully online in week 2 already. And this is an exciting week of work because during this week we're going to kind of put a few things together. The first thing that we did obviously is figure out, well, what is this whole research thing about? What is business research? What's the significance of it? Okay? How do I conduct a really good research project? And we went along and we kind of did an outline for a literature review. And now, just like with anything else, an outline is really nothing more than a roadmap that gives us direction to where we want to go. So in having said that, we're going to figure out how to actually work with that literature review, which is kind of dependent on a hypothesis. And a hypothesis is, well, what is it that we're trying to accomplish here? Traditionally, a hypothesis has been denoted as an if-then statement. If this happens, what is going to be the end result before I actually go ahead and do my research? And that's what we want to know. We want to know what is the quintessential problem that I'm trying to solve. What is it exactly that I want to know? Am I going to be spinning my wheels going in all different directions trying to figure out what I think I want to know? Do I honestly know what I want to do? Now that might seem stupid or rhetorical to you, but it really isn't. Over the years in education, I've seen so many, in private industry and also as an educator, I've seen so many projects go awry because people didn't honestly know what they wanted. They thought they did, but they really didn't, okay? And they're disappointed when the end result comes to fruition. So having said that, I'm really trying to get you to think in terms of analytical and sequential thought. And for many of us, it's very difficult to do because perception and reality often are further apart than we think. I'm not suggesting we're delusional. What I'm saying is that what we think is going to be the end result of something we think we want doesn't turn out that way and we're disappointed, if you know what I mean. So the thing is, once we get our literature review outlined together, we've developed the hypotheses, we answered some sample questions, now the whole thing comes to life for us. So in this particular week, we're going to be actually looking at identifying a research problem. What is it? And I'm going to give you some supportive YouTube videos to go along with that. And also some lecture notes we're going to be taking from the book, analyzing things, and then doing some assignments for the week. Now, as you've been noting, everything that I do each week has time attached to it. How much time should I spend on something? Online stuff, even classroom stuff, requires not just independence in doing our studies, but it requires structure and discipline. Just like when you plan an agenda, you spend a certain amount of time doing something, and if you spend too much time, you're probably spinning your wheels, and if you spend not enough time, you're not really looking at all the parameters of all the possibilities of things that you need to put into your studies. So it's really kind of important that you look at the pedagogy or the development of what we're trying to accomplish in the classroom in addition to the subject matter. Discipline yourself to take the time, just like with a research project, to go through all this stuff. Don't just go to answer the assignments because you're really just cheating yourself. Take the time. I know it's difficult sometimes in the work-life balance stuff, but take the time to really pay attention to what it is that you're trying to accomplish in this particular week and every week that you are fully online and not physically with the instructor. hopefully I spent some 5 minutes explaining all of this. It sheds a little bit of light onto everything before we actually get into this week. So, okay, let's talk about the subject matter here. All right. So now, how do we essentially research a problem? Okay? So that's what inquiring minds want to know. How do we research a problem? Well, here's the thing. We got to develop what we call a problem statement. And we're going to talk about this in this particular section. This week we're going to try to, as one of your first learning objectives, explain the purpose of a literature review in business research. We've already kind of done an outline that you did your previous week in your assignment. Now we actually want to explain what it is. What is a good literature review? And what type of references do we need to back up our literature? You know, a lot of times we don't have an opinion on something. We really don't know about it. So what we do, we kind of take a shortcut, right? We go and try to research an idea that we have in our head, and then we put that research down. We cut and paste it in our literature review, and then we form an opinion around that. Well, that's kind of backwards, and that defeats the purpose of everything. Essentially, when you put a literature review together, you start with your outline, and then, like with the hypotheses, it's what you think you're going to accomplish before you actually do your research. Well, when you do a literature review, you have your outline, and you put down kind of an opinion of what you think you want to find out. Okay? So just say I want to find out hypothetically if the sky is blue when it rains. That's ridiculous, but we know that's not the case, but we're trying to prove it one way or another. So we have to kind of research what happens when the sky is blue, and that'll be in our outline. And we have to research what happens when the sky isn't blue, and we put that in our outline. Once we do the research, we'll know that when the sky isn't blue, it's probably cloudy and raining, right? But that's what our research is going to bring us, but we have to form that opinion first. So that's where our references come in. We can't put the cart before the horse. When we do our literature review, we see something in writing or the research problem. We want to go and research what it is based on what we think now that we want to find out. Then once we find out, that's when we cut and paste it into the literature review. Then we want to realize how we develop a problem statement. What is a problem statement? A problem statement really is an if-then statement. A problem statement might be, if it rains outside, I'm not sure whether or not I should use an umbrella, but if it rains too hard, the umbrella might be blown away, right? So what's the problem statement? The problem statement might be, in hard rain with a lot of wind, should I use an umbrella or should I use a strong rain hat? Just using some stupid thing like that. But we want to develop a problem statement and also learn how to conduct a personal interview. That's really important sometimes. If I really want to find something out, I have to get to the heart of the matter, and that might involve an interview. So those are basically the three learning objectives, and throughout this particular module during this week, you're going to ask to be reading Chapter 2 in your business research methods, specifically pages 25 to 39, which meets learning objectives 1 to 3. Take you about an hour. And Chapter 2, again, is going to really divulge into that literature review. And your resources are going to be to look at the video on actually writing a problem statement. And that video is going to take care of learning objective 3 to 4. Okay, and that would be, and actually there's only 3 learning objectives, so I would imagine 3, as it states in your syllabus, would be to develop a problem statement, and 4 might be how to conduct a personal interview. Give or take, that's about an hour. And then we're going to be looking at the problem statement and research questions video. And that would be meaning learning objectives 3. Again, that would be 3 and 4. And that would take about an hour as well. So the thing is that there is a template that will help you put together a problem statement, which is meaning learning objective number 1. Okay, and that would be no, it's actually learning objective number 3. Forgive me, and that would be develop a problem statement, and then learning objective number 4, how to conduct a personal interview. How do you put together those interview questions when you're going to talk to someone? So essentially, this is what we're going to be doing in week number 2 here, and we're going to actually do a participation thread, a discussion thread, where you guys can bounce things off of each other and about developing a problem statement, how you're going to go about doing it. All the instructions will be right in the assignment, so don't worry. Then you're going to be doing a literature review draft and then an actual interview paper. And I'll give you all the directions on how to do that, and that meets learning objective number 2 and learning objective number 4. So again, my apologies, if you go back to your syllabus, it'll say the problem statement meets learning objective number 1, and that actually is learning objective number 3. Okay, so no worries about that, just a little typo there. I didn't want to confuse you. But that's kind of where we're going for all of this week. And again, guys, if you run into any specific problems, you have my cell and text. You can do either way. I will get back to you. And if I'm driving, I might not see what you're saying, but I get a gist of it, and then I'll find out for you how to solve the problem. So that's it for the week. I'll look forward to being online with you. Have a wonderful week.